here with Ben, you never know
what you're gonna get.
Yeah, exactly.
I take it too literally. That's what prom is.
That's your T-shirt.
Yeah.
Friend. That's your high school superlative.
Take things literally.
Hey there, and welcome to Gear 11 News at noon. Our top stories today include the latest in the presidential race, plus a big update for the MPD.
That's right. Just an hour ago, a vote on the new contracts passed through the city council. I'll break down what that means for the department.
And then we've got Prince's sister in the house talking all about the celebration of Purple Rain. But first, let's get a look at the weather.
Perfect day. I was going to say picture perfect and perfect in the same word. So if that works.
I think you just created a new word that works.
Okay, well, I'll call Webster's and see if they can include that. It is a picture perfect noon hour right now. Look at this. We have some fair weather cumulus clouds, temperatures in the mid 70s. The dew point is low and the wind is light. We've got surface high pressure moving right on top of us. In fact, you can actually see the swirl. See the wind barbs right here? That swirl is just south of the Twin Cities. That clockwise flow around that area of high pressure, that sinking motion, giving us all the sunshine, the light winds, and basically just a lovely day is in the works. That's pretty much what you can expect over the next 12 hours. Temperature is warming up a couple more degrees. I think we'll stay just shy of 80 degrees today for a high temperature, but we do expect there to be a slight warming trend as we head deeper into the week and especially this upcoming weekend. So overall, pleasant conditions today. As we do get into the weekend, the humidity increases just a little bit and there's a small chance at a few afternoon showers and thunderstorms. These are going to be very isolated, just kind of bubbling up with the heat of the afternoon sun, but no major rain or major heat waves in the forecast anytime soon. Alexis?
Ben, thank you. A big story developing right now out of Minneapolis. After months of back and forth negotiations, the city council just voted in favor of a new contract for the Minneapolis Police Department. Now, Cece, I know you watched this decision come down just minutes ago. What can you tell us?
Yeah, there was some back and forth definitely during the meeting, different opinions about how to move forward. But around 10:45 this morning, the Minneapolis City Council passed a historic and somewhat controversial contract for Minneapolis police. It passed 8-4. Here's what we know about that contract. The new contract calls for a near 22% raise in base pay across 3 years. By July of 2025, starting pay for new recruits would be $41 an hour, which is about $85,000 a year. Department veterans can make $72 an hour, or almost $150,000 a year. The contract also includes some reforms. Civilian investigators are one. The city would be able to permanently hire ordinary people to help with police work. There would be longer leave time that would apply when an officer is being investigated. Also staffing flexibility, which gives management more discretion over job assignments and staffing ratios. Now, this approval comes at a time when the city is down more than 300 officers from where it was before the pandemic and the murder of George Floyd. Coming up in 30 minutes, we'll hear what city council members had to say about the new contract.
Cece, thank you. The council is also discussing the negotiations for striking park workers at today's meeting. Earlier this week, councilors passed a resolution supporting the park workers who say they're closing in on a deal. However, in the last 24 hours, the park board sent a letter to the city council saying there's still a $1.4 million wage gap between the two groups. We're taking a live look at Milwaukee, where the Republican National Convention is in its final day. Tonight, we expect former President Trump to accept the nomination for the ballot and to give a speech for the first time since the assassination attempt. Ivan Rodriguez has the latest.
On the penultimate night of the Republican National Convention, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance formally accepted the vice presidential nomination.
Mr. President, I will never take for granted the trust you have put in me.
While introducing himself and his life story to the world.
I grew up in Middletown, Ohio, a place that had been cast aside and forgotten by America's ruling class in Washington.
Vance attacked Joe Biden and Democratic policies, making it clear that although he was once a harsh Trump critic, he's now all in.
Now, Joe Biden has been a politician in Washington for longer than I've been alive. For half a century, he's been the champion of every major policy initiative to make America weaker and poorer.
The night's theme, Make America Strong Once Again, highlighted Trump's foreign policy priorities, featuring Gold Star families who lost loved ones during the U.S.'s chaotic withdrawal from Afghanistan.
Joe Biden owes the men and women that served in Afghanistan a debt of gratitude and an apology.
As well as families of Hamas hostages who believe Trump can bring their loved ones home.
We know he stands with the American hostages. We need our beautiful son back. And we need your support.
Tonight's theme, Make America Great Once Again, will underpin former President Trump's address as he formally accepts his nomination for president for the third time and lays out his vision for what a second Trump term will be. In Milwaukee, I'm Ivan Rodriguez.
And you can watch the final day of the Republican National Convention live on KARE 11 Plus, our streaming app for Roku, Fire, and Apple TV. And our political reporter John Croman is in Milwaukee. Tune in for his report starting tonight at 10 p.m. on KARE 11. On the Democratic side of the ticket, 4 sources say former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi spoke privately with President Biden, saying the polls show he cannot beat Trump in November. This call was the second conversation between Pelosi and the president since the debate on June 27th. Sources say President Biden responded saying he has seen polls saying he can win. Governor Walz is also chiming in. In a letter to Democrats, he says the party won't try to rush a vote to secure Biden as their nominee. Biden supporters were pushing for a virtual roll call ahead of the Democratic National Convention. As co-chair of the DNC's Rules Committee, Walz says that can still happen, but not before August 1st.
It was scheduled way before the debate. It was scheduled way before anything else. And the process and the agenda for this was to start setting the rules for the convention, as we've always done.
The DNC is meeting tomorrow to deliberate on and also set in motion the timeline for virtual voting. The convention begins August 19th in Chicago. President Biden is now back home in Delaware as he fights COVID. In the last 24 hours, we learned he tested positive while campaigning in Vegas. The White House says he has mild symptoms. Biden posted on X saying he feels good and that he will be working while he recovers. We have new details today on a potential motive behind the assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump. Officials say the gunman has photos of Trump and President Biden on his phone. Sources say his search history showed research on both parties' national conventions and Trump's event schedule, as well as major depression disorders. The Secret Service director is set to testify before members of Congress next week on the attempted assassination of former President Trump that you just saw right there. She's now admitted the agency's responsibility for the incident, despite initially saying local police were responsible for securing that area. New details show counter-snipers saw the shooter, but it's unclear if they knew he was a threat. Back at home, Minnesota Power is working with state and federal agencies after a massive spill of coal ash waste water. It spilled in a lake that connects to the Mississippi River. This is about 3 hours north of the cities, and the company says an estimated 1 million gallon of wastewater leaked from a pipeline. Still not clear when the leak occurred. Minnesota Power says it has now been contained. We've got an update on the plans for St. Paul. Work continues to expand the privately funded Downtown Improvement Project, or district rather. A new proposal would expand the entire downtown area and create a new safety communications center. Some city residents oppose it, but at the first public hearing just yesterday, many spoke in favor of it.
My question is, if cleaning services are the only measurable benefits sold to City Council, then why do they only account for 27% of their proposed budget?
In our experience, the services provided by the Downtown Improvement District have been truly a positive force in improving the perception of safety and vitality in the district.
The City Council has the final say on if the district will expand. They're excited to make a decision. They're expected, rather, to make a decision by August 6th, a little over 2 weeks from now.
Well, we've got a couple of updates on where student loan debt sits in the U.S. today. In the last 7 hours, we learned President Biden has canceled another $1.2 billion in loans. That spans over 35,000 people working in the public sector, including firefighters, nurses, and teachers. In total, the president has canceled more than $168 billion in loan debt for nearly 5 million people. We're also seeing more people file for bankruptcy in order to get relief from student loans. Between October and March, 588 people made the request. That's up 36% from the previous 6 months. The Department of Justice shows 98% of the cases were successful in canceling at least some of the debt. Advocates say not enough people are aware that it's even an option.
Last night was a big game on the field for the Minnesota United, and it was all thanks to a goal from their newest player. Take a look.
Go on. Boxel. And he sends it through. Bono. It's in. Carter Lucero sends the Legion of Loons into a frenzy.
Oh man, you gotta love it. This is Carter Lucero. For his 7th birthday, the Make-A-Wish Foundation teamed up with the Loons to fulfill his goal and his wish of scoring a goal at Allianz Field. He's originally from Tucson, where he trained with the team for the big moment. His family was there to cheer him on, and he even got a chance to join the drum line. After the game, Carter was named the man of the match.